MAPECU channel. Today we're going to talk about the basic functions of MAPECU. Now we've got MAPECU3 version 3.4.2, which is the latest version as of today, and it supports the Wi-Fi module and therefore Wi-Fi connectivity. So this is the basic dashboard. You've got file functions at the top of the screen, including help, which tells you the version number, 3.4.2, and these tabs along the top give you the dashboard, the fuel table, ignition timing, auxiliary injector, O2 adjust, and logging, which is blank at the moment because we don't have any logging. The dashboard has a rev counter up to 10,000 RPM as per the MAPECU3, a vacuum and boost gauge which you can configure, a mini fuel table. This section in the center here is a representation of the fuel table to show you where you're in the fuel table at any one time when you're live on the MAPECU3. Air fuel ratio, if you've got a wideband connected, it'll display the air fuel ratios right here. The voltage from the O2 sensor if you've got one, or wideband. MAF input voltage will be displayed here. Inlet air temp in centigrade or Fahrenheit. The amount of TPS enrichment, MAP enrichment, electronic boost controller duty cycle, ignition timing, degrees. That's on top of base timing. Base timing if you utilize the top dead center input. And for the fuel output, which zone you're using, what the value is in the fuel table that's being used at the moment, and the actual calculated fuel output, as well as auxiliary injector duty cycle. If you've got a knock sensor hooked up, this will be the knock graph, and this is your throttle position sensor display. Now all this can be configured under the edit menu, MAPECU configuration, and you'll see under configure dashboard all these options are turned on. At the moment we've got display being shown, or sorry, vacuum being shown in inches of mercury. We can switch to millimeters of mercury. We can display boost as PSI, kPa or bar, and you can display temperature, inlet air temp as Celsius or Fahrenheit. From the top we've got adjust percentage. Adjust percentage means when you're on a fuel table, how much do you adjust a percentage? Something to watch is that if you've got zeros in a fuel table, any percentage of zero is still zero. So you've just got to watch that. If you're dealing with very, very low numbers, you may have to switch the next flag, which is adjust by constant, because that then allows you to add, in this case, 5, a value of 5 to the value in the fuel table by hitting the plus key, or minus key will subtract 5. So just watch, especially with intercept modes, that is, if you're wondering why it's not adjusting, have a look and see if the base value is 0. Invert y-axis will flip the y-axis for a reverse voltage airflow meter, like some of the old flap style ones are reverse voltage. In other words, 5 volts at no airflow and 0 volts at full airflow. Grid lines displays grid lines on the fuel and timing and so forth, the graphs. A new feature in the 3.4.2 is the ability to connect over Wi-Fi, USB or COM. Now this is the USB and COM are two different settings for the USB drivers. We've had some people having problems with installing the COM driver, so we've added for the support for the base USB driver, and so it should work on USB in most instances, but the best performance is using the COM driver. But you can select it here, and the default is USB. And of course you go into here to select Wi-Fi if you've got a Wi-Fi unit and you want to connect over wireless. The next option is enabling cursor trail, which we'll show you later, but it means it will leave a trail on the table that you're looking at in yellow, showing which zones are being used. Erase cursor time means that after a number of seconds that you select here, up to 60 seconds, it'll erase the trail and start again, but if you set it to 0 it'll never erase. The enable wideband display is turned off at the moment because we haven't got a wideband configured on this particular MAPECU, and display MAF voltage is in a table in voltage mode. If you uncheck it, it'll use the raw values, which are 0 through 4095. If you check it, it'll display volts, which is 0 through to 5 volts in 0.01 volt increments. Enabling that MAF or KVF input on the dashboard is enabled this checkbox, and in this box here you select which wideband you've got. You simply connect the wideband to an input and you select the one you've got. For example, the Innovate LC1, you'd select that from there. Next option, force firmware upgrade, as it says on the screen. What this does is forces a firmware upgrade to the unit regardless when you hit the connect button next. And as I said before, these functions basically enable you to display various settings on the dashboard.